Hello to all students. In this video lecture, we are going to discuss apoptosis. If we look at the literal meaning of apoptosis, it means falling off, just like the leaves fall off from the trees during autumn season. Similarly, the cells of our body, they die during this process. So it is a basically programmed cell death in which cells of our body commit suicide in the absence of survival signals. These survival signals comes from inside the cell, which are known as intrinsic signals, or maybe they can come from outside the cell, which are known as extrinsic signals. Apoptosis is very important phenomena which is taking place in our body. So first of all, we are going to discuss what is the significance of this process. So apoptosis has a great significance in the process of development and from normal development of the body. It removes unwanted cells from the body which have damaged by somehow, or which are useless, or which have become old, or which have become worn out. So these cells have to be removed from the body, and this process, apoptosis, removes these cells. Apoptosis also plays a vital role in cellular homeostasis. As you know that excretion, removal of toxic material from the body is known as homeostasis. So it is a cellular homeostasis in which the cells which are not necessary or unwanted cells which can produce toxins in the body can be removed by this process. Apoptosis removes damaged cell by infection, maybe sometimes due to the viral infection, due to the bacterial infection, or some other condition. Some cell made damage, maybe the cells of liver, cells of digestive system, cells of internal organs, and they must have to be removed before that they can produce toxin and can produce harms to our body. Apoptosis also play very essential role in the development of fetus. So how this happens? There are different points we are going to explain. Number one, during the process of development in fetus, lot of neurons are produced in our brain. But as the development progresses, most of the cells from our brain are removed through the process of apoptosis. Like 50% of neurons are removed from our brain to form the synapses, which are the connection between two different neurons. So it is a very important formation of synapses because synapses play a vital role in the functioning of our nervous system. This process also removes skin or web from our fingers and toenails, from toes, and during the process of development. So when we are in the womb and our development is taking place, our fingers after the formation are joined with each other. So they get separated from each other by apoptosis, by the removing of the cells of the web or the tissues present between these fingers. Similarly, our tongue can separate from our jaw. Similarly, our lashes, eyebrows, which can be separated from each other during the process of development. So removal of webs between finger is also takes place with the help of apoptosis. It has also role in cyclic slowing of endometrium. Endometrium, as you know, that the internal lining of the uterus. During the process of menstruation, certain cells are destroyed by process of apoptosis for proper functioning of menstruation. Apoptosis also removes certain white blood cells which are known as T lymphocytes. T lymphocytes are very important components of our immune system, but somehow due to the gene mutation they become aggressive and they attack on our own body cells, causing different types of diseases which are known as autoimmune disorders like lupus and diabetes. So through apoptosis, these aggressive T cells can be removed, can be killed from our body. So apoptosis removes autoaggressive T cells to prevent different types of autoimmune disorders. Apoptosis is also necessary for disappearance of duct system during sex differentiation. During the process of development of the fetus, sex has to be determined, either fetus is a male or a female. So during this process, through apoptosis, certain duct systems are removed so that the sex of a fetus can be determined, either male or female. Now we are going to look at the process of apoptosis. So let's look at the cell. This is a normal cell of a body, but for certain reason it has to be destroyed, it has to be killed. So from intrinsic signal or through extrinsic signals, this cell will commit suicide, and through a process of apoptosis, this cell will be removed from our body. So when a signal will be received, then mitochondria produce a special type of enzyme which digests proteins. So activated caspases enzyme digests cytoskeleton and cell shrinks. So as this cell will receive the signals of suicide or by killing, the mitochondria of this cell release a protein which is known as caspases. This caspases digest the cytoskeleton present inside the cell, like microtubules, microfilaments and intermediate filaments, which are made up of different proteins like tubulin, actin, etc. So those proteins are being digested by this enzyme, and the shape of the cell will be destroyed and cells start to shrink. In the next step, cell loses contact with neighbors and basal lamina. Because cell is shrinking rapidly, all its contacts with its neighboring cell will be lost, and also the contact with the basal lamina is lost, which is a sign of death of the cell. The nucleus contains chromosomes, and chromosome will condense and disintegrate and also degrade and become chromatin bodies. So chromatin undergo degradation and nucleus changes into chromatin bodies. Chromatin bodies are short fragments of chromosomes. As you can see in this diagram, the chromosome has been converted into chromatin bodies. At the same time, cell membrane also breaks, and cell membrane form bubbles on its surface which are known as blebs. As you can see right over here, different types of bubbles are formed. So cell membrane breaks and bubbles are formed on the surface of cell membrane containing different organelles or material of the cell. After some time, these bubbles will get separate through cell membrane process and they will become apoptotic bodies. All the cell has been changed into small vessel-like structure which contain different material of the cell, and these bodies are known as apoptotic bodies. So apoptotic bodies are formed at the late stage of apoptosis. Now the next process is to remove these apoptotic bodies from the body. So who is going to do that? White blood cells. There are special white blood cells which are known as phagocytes. They are transported at the place of apoptosis, and these cells are going to engulf these apoptotic bodies, and they are going to digest these particles inside the cell with the help of certain enzymes, and the whole cell will be cleaned out from our body. So in our last process, apoptotic bodies are engulfed by phagocytosis and digested and removed from our bodies. There are 50 to 70 billion cells are destroyed every day, and new cells are produced in place of these cells. This process of apoptosis is very programmed. If there is a less process or there is a decreased process of apoptosis in our body, then there is a chance of getting cancer. But if the apoptosis is very fast and our too many cells are destroyed in our body, there could be atrophy which will weaken our muscles, and our muscles cannot work properly. So it has to be very controlled, very regulated, which is done by different types of intrinsic and extrinsic factors. That's all for today.